My name is Daphne Montenegro. I was born here in the United States, but I went to Peru and lived there for 8 years. As soon as I had the opportunity to go on a mission trip with Mount Pisgah, I chose to go to Peru so I could visit my country again. At first, my plan was to go to Peru to reminisce on the time that I'd lived there. But when I arrived, I saw that my mission was very different. My mission was to go preach the gospel of God.
This year for mission trip, we went to Villa El Salvador, Peru. I was lucky enough to be an evangelist, and we preached 11 sermons. During the day, we practiced the sermon that we preached that night, and then we preached through all of them, 2 on Sabbath, 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening, and it was a really fun experience.
Going as an evangelist meant that we had to preach 11 sermons, so that was a lot to think about at first.
I had never really done anything like this before, and so I was kind of nervous to go on the trip with Mount Pisgah and do this.
I know me personally, I'm not the type of person to talk in front of people a lot or just get up for anything. I'd rather just sing and be done rather than those 3-4 minutes, singing and just get off the stage.
But I loved it. It was a brand new experience for me, getting up, having my own church that I got to preach at, having a congregation that became like my family, and just having the opportunity to get up in front of them and share God's word was really cool.
Just having the chance to preach to other people, especially in different country where you don't exactly have the same language, it kind of taught me in a way, to still trust in God, although, there's that language barrier, and just overall just learn to trust Him over the whole trip.
What impressed me the most was the people. After seeing and living with my people again, I realized how much I missed where I used to live.
The members of my church were very welcoming and very, they accepted me no matter what, even if I messed up in the sermon or if I couldn't stay and eat their food, they welcomed me and loved me no matter what.
One thing that really resonated with me on this trip was just to see the joy and the gratefulness of these people. Although they didn't have much in their lives, they were so thankful for everything, even just the little things. When we brought the kids stickers or bubbles, their faces lit up with so much more joy than I could ever imagine.
Just seeing how happy they are with the things that they have and just how blessed that they feel with having the things that they have, because us Americans, we're more fortunate than them, and so we have more, but we're always wanting more, and what we have is never enough to please us, but what they have pleases them.
Me abrió los ojos definitivamente porque
This was an eye-opening trip because I lived in Peru for a long time. I thought I had lived in a place where everything was poor and people have almost nothing. Then I came to the United States and my life began to be comfortable. I did not think about the poverty I had in Peru. But now that I came back, everything was different. I realized that I was happy in Peru. I was happy there even though I didn't have much. And in the United States, I could have many things, but that didn't increase my happiness. When I returned to Peru, I could see that difference.
Something that resonated with me on this trip was just how little the language barrier actually matters. Everyone there spoke Spanish, and I don't speak really any Spanish, but just, you come up with jokes, you come up with little things, and it really doesn't matter. And I preached with a translator, and just seeing how, even though I didn't speak Spanish, just how we were able to become like a family, and how, little that language barrier actually mattered when you're doing something for God like that.
As I observed the people and just saw their kindness and how their kindness even showed through, although there was a language barrier, that I hope that I can do the same in my life.
Before I went on any evangelism trip, I didn't want to go on any evangelism trip. I had gone on construction mission trips, and I was perfectly happy to keep doing that because I have a very instant gratification type of personality. So I like building it and seeing what I had built and seeing the end result. And with evangelism, I was just like, you don't really get to see the end result. You're not going to see it till we get to heaven. And so that didn't 100% appeal to me, but I did it anyway. And my first experience was rough. It was, quite honestly, kind of terrible. And I expected the worst for this one too. I was like, oh, it's going to be rough, it's going to be hard, it's going to be, all this stuff. But I decided to do it anyway, and I went forward in faith with God. And, that's what evangelism is about. It's not about practice, 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 practice. I think I can do this, I think I can do this. It's about doing your best and then leaving the rest up to God. Because, yeah, our best can do it, but that's not what it's going to take to win souls for God. It's going to take the Holy Spirit. It's going to take God.
As I was on the trip, I didn't feel the impact as much, but now that I've come back, I realized the impact the trip had on me.
Especially just preaching the gospel to people. And while you're I figure out that while I'm preaching, I'm also learning myself.
I've come back and I realized to be more grateful for those little things in life, just as the people in Peru were, and it's really made a big difference.
The way it affected my outlook on evangelism is just that God can use anyone. It doesn't matter if you don't speak the language, it doesn't matter if you're not comfortable up front. God will use you to do awesome things, and this trip definitely taught me that.